Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Simon. We're doing philosophy through pop culture using Love is Blind UK Season 2, and this is episode 7. Let's see what happens.
Should we talk about the food shop?
So this is Ashley and Billy, and they just went shopping. We saw in the last episode, they have an issue with their diet. They both eat very differently. Like I said in the last edit, I just don't see a problem with this. Just eat different things. But let's see what the real issue is, because I did predict that they would say no at the altar, and maybe this is the reason why, but let's see.
I just felt totally overwhelmed by kind of the way you speak about food. I just have never thought of food the way you have, and it just felt very overwhelming yesterday.
I know so much of my life is routine and so much of my life is regimented, but hand on heart, I don't feel that food is that to me. Obviously because of my job and being in health and fitness, I like to kind of just have a couple of days where I can have some sort of structure and control my calories.
You kind of control quite a lot of your life. Food feels very controlled to me when you talk about it. Food to me is not controlled.
Okay, so conversations around food and control can be related to EDs as well. So I wonder if that's at play here. I don't suffer from an ED and I never have. So when people talk about like having control or regimen around food, it doesn't bother me at all. And I'm not saying that it has to bother you if you've had an ED or struggled with ED, but I do tend to, because I'm in the gym bro bubble a lot, see an overlap with people having like triggered issues around EDs and regimented eating. And I just want to say that it could be an ED. It could not be an ED. It might be triggering. It could not be triggering. It's just really dependent on the person. Because again, we don't know his why, except to say that I think it's pretty clear that it's just related to work and or his relationship to staying lean and in shape as a sort of live by example thing. So that makes sense to me, right? That all checks out. Again, we don't know yet, but just based off of my observation, it could be either or. And I just wanted to bring it up because I know that being in the gym bro bubble, a lot of people do suffer from EDs and or at least criticisms or accusations of having an ED. Like I've noticed people literally accusing people of having an ED because they count calories. It just feels like really reductive for the way that, you know, we understand calories in, calories out, though everyone's body is different. So there's a lot of layers to this is what I'm trying to say.
Back when I was like 13, you know, I was a beanpole. There's nothing of me. I got bullied for being that way, and I used food in a positive light to kind of help me beef up, put weight on, and that drove my self-confidence to improve.
I don't want to put pressure on you in any aspects, especially now that I know what you went through growing up, because I wasn't aware of that before.
I don't want to feel guilty for buying chocolate and sweets and having a goodie cupboard up there, which has already started.
Yeah. That's true. She shouldn't have to feel guilty.
You never feel guilty for that.
But I'm not going to lie, I do at the moment feel guilty for having it.
She probably feels shame. So guilty is when you betray your own values and standards, and shame is when you've betrayed the expectation of the bubble. So right now she's probably feeling a lot of shame over having food in the house because she does want to have food in the house and she shouldn't have to feel bad for it. And so it's not her values she's betraying, it's his. And so now she feels shame from the judgment of the outside. So it's good they're having this conversation.
Even now, I'm not going to lie, it's difficult for me. Like I'm just adjusting to the way that you speak about food, and it's playing on my mind a little bit.
Again, it's something I'm going to have to take time to prove it to you, because I don't want you to feel guilty for having sweets, treats. If I was trying to be healthy one day and you came to me saying, oh, I've got a surprise, let's go out, let's do this. I'll drop the gym, I'll drop everything because I want to spend time with you. That's above anything and everything else.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly the context of the conversation because, again, I assume Netflix edits it. But he said that if you came to me and surprised me with going out, he would drop everything and go because that's a priority. So he's saying there is room to make her a priority. Again, I think it's very abnormal and maybe unorthodox when I'm suggesting that you eat different things, but it's so helpful for my marriage. And I know some people have like, just like the elders in my community have like scoffed at it because, you know, family dinner is usually you eat the same thing. But in our family, we eat exactly what we want every day and we eat it together, which is the part of the family building stuff, like the quality time together. And so I'm just suggesting it to you guys to enter them because I think it's like unorthodox, but very helpful.
I appreciate you bringing it to the table. And now that I'm aware, I just want to keep trying. And then moving forward, I'll show you in every way I can.
Now, I'm not sure if Billy is saying this as like a cope or a way to like move the conversation along or a way to avoid conflict. It could be, or maybe he's serious, but I would have loved to have seen a solution being discussed rather than just the, okay, I'll do better. But like, what's the solution, right?
I want to believe Billy can compromise and become less routine like with me.
I don't like the insinuation that he should be less routine with her though. Don't understand that. Maybe because I am very routine based. When I'm in middle of go, like, you know, like if she wants someone more spontaneous, she should think about that. I am not a spontaneous girly. I did not marry somebody who's spontaneous. We are not interested in spontaneity. We are only interested in like our routines and our, you know, we're like neurodivergently regimented, but like in an autistic ADHD way, which means it's kind of chaotic, but it makes sense, but also like no spontaneity, but also it doesn't look like, it doesn't look as organized as maybe Billy is perceived as to be, but it's still something. I don't know.
Like security guard. I've got someone I really want you to meet.
Really?
Let's go.
Oh my.
So this is Barda's friend, and she's coming to meet Jed.
So you're the famous Liv?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is Jed.
Nice.
Yeah, my darling, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Good energy so far. They seem nice. Liv is the friend's name.
I imagine you got a few questions for me. Yeah, I heard you're very close with us, so
She's like my sister.
cool, I get that.
Thank
Should we
you.
do a little cheers?
I don't think we should do it yet.
Oh, okay, cool, bring it on.
I don't love the energy of Liv. She's like, should we do a cheers? And she's like, no, not yet. I don't love the energy. Maybe because I'm like, it's not very warm. Like maybe it's a cultural thing, but like culturally in a West Asian household, I couldn't imagine you rejecting someone's cheers. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to be warm and welcoming and lovable. So I don't know what she was doing there, if she was trying to be like hard, but I did feel like a slight rejection. It kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. And I'm not even Jed. Did hurt my feelings a little bit though.
Protective of her. It's a massive decision, like who you end up spending your life with and building a family. I've seen it not work for her and what that looks like.
This like lost or like is it actual genuine love?
Yeah, for me, and I think for her it's love, but obviously you speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the first few dates, kind of just knew it was just easy.
In what way?
Just like we connected on like the culture, the family background, and then obviously she came in and she just blew it out of the water. Like it was just so easy.
Have you had an argument yet?
There are going to be times where we don't see eye to eye. I was cutting spring onions wrong the other day, and she had me cutting them correctly.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's minor because you are gonna have like disagreements down the line.
Yeah.
But we've been so lucky with our journey. It's just been so easy.
So Liv asked an important question, like, have you basically had a fight? And they said like over spring onions, like very basic minor stuff. And they haven't had a big argument yet, which is good. I mean, I would say that, it doesn't have to be a fight against each other. The best situation is that they have an intense conversation in relation to something outside of their relationship. So again, it's like you and your partner against the world. So like marriage isn't hard. The world is hard. Like life is hard, but the marriage isn't hard. And so the idea is like when you guys have heated conversations, they're about the thing you're tackling, not about each other. You're not attacking each other. You're attacking the problem, right? So I'm glad they haven't had a problem to attack, but it will come up. There will be deaths in the family, sicknesses, you'll lose a job, you'll have to move, things will get stressful. One of the kids, that you'll have to give birth to children. Like there's so much that will come naturally. The economy will be a mess. You know what I mean? The world will, World War III will happen. But at the end of the day, you don't fight each other, you fight the problem.
I've heard you say this before, how happy you were. Everything was easy last time. Everything was like,
Oh, she said, Barda said this before, that her last relationships or relationships before this were also easy and no fights. So, okay, good for the friend for noticing like a little bit of a yellow flag there.
didn't work out.
But it's okay that it didn't work out, right? Like you're allowed to date people and have it be easy and have it not be your partner. So maybe it's less of a yellow flag and more how we think about relationships. Like just because you dated someone and it didn't work out isn't bad. That's what dating is for. Dating is to see if it will work out. I think the issue is that we date somebody and we don't do our due diligence, and then we get attached to the idea that this is our person, and then we start planning our life like it is before it really is. There is just, at least in my own lived experience, a difference between dating people and then making the decision to live with them. Like I was dating people who I knew their families, we were together. The future possible in-laws always liked me, obviously. Like even if you're in a situation where your parents meet them, your friends and family meet them, they like them, it doesn't mean like that's your person. And that's what's hard. It's like, well, if this isn't my person, who is? If it's going well, why isn't this my person? Two good people together doesn't mean it's a match. And also, of course, we have bad breakups and then we have all these other things that happen. So I think it's a good thing that Liv is pointing it out, that this is a pattern, but also this is a expected pattern when dating, right? That you will date somebody and it won't work out.
I can't watch that again.
I'm not sure what she means. Does she mean she was in an abusive relationship before? She doesn't want to see that happen again? Or does she mean that she doesn't want her to date somebody and break up again? Because that's obviously going to happen, right?
Almost too good to be true.
Okay. I think she's speaking more seriously. Like she doesn't want to see Barda get abused or something.
Had a history of not the greatest outcomes in relationships. Totally understandable for Olivia to be concerned, seeing obviously where we are now and how different this is to my last relationship. Like for me, it's incomparable.
Okay, so she says that is in her mind incomparable, but also it's good to be concerned. Liv does have concerns, which is also okay. I think the questions are good. I think it'd be helpful if Liv was a little bit more warm rather than very like negative energy, because you can be serious about your inquiries without being cold. I know when I brought my partner home to meet my brothers, they were very warm, but they were very pointed with their questions, but it was like a lot of fun. And I think there's a way to do it. I think it's difficult though when you've been so hurt. And also this friend is probably like, Liv is probably living up to this like expectation of asking him the right questions, which is, I don't want it to cause an unnecessary defensiveness in anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because like tensions are high, but it's okay so far. The conversation feels a little strained.
I hope that is the case, but I've still got to tell you my concerns. I'm always going to be honest with you at the end of the day.
Barda getting married is obviously crazy. I want it to work so bad for her. She deserves the world. The only red flag I saw was they haven't had an argument.
Okay, she said she wants it to work for Barda, but the only red flag she saw is they didn't have an argument yet. And I kind of see what she's saying. You guys know when I was with my partner, because we got engaged in 6 months, it was kind of quick. But within that 6 months, we had a death in the family. We had a real like conversation about who we were as people, like a really tough conversation. And then we had to deal with like immigration and moving country. Not that you have to wait for this to happen, but that it's nice if you can have like a tough thing happen so you can see if you turn it on each other. Like one of the things those things proved to us during our engagement period was that we weren't going to take it out on each other, is that we were going to take it out on the problem. And it was really reassuring, and it's followed through the last few years in our relationship. Like anytime something's got difficult or the world has gotten difficult, because I don't think people are, I don't know how much your life is impacted by this administration and the way politics goes, but it's obviously impacting our relationship. So we're always stressed by the world, and it's just so nice to know we're not going to take it out on each other. That's the difference between my last relationships and this relationship. In my last relationships, it got turned on each other, especially in my opinion on me, because I was primarily the worker and I was the one with diagnoses. So anytime something went wrong, it was like your fault, you're borderline, you're this is your fault. And it just felt like so much blame. And I don't like that. I don't feel like that's fair. So I think that's what leads to toxicity and abuse in a relationship, is like someone gets blamed rather than us taking responsibility. And I understand that I also dated people that I blamed for their actions instead of holding myself accountable in who I chose to date. I blamed them, which is why I don't believe in blaming people anymore. And instead of saying, this is your responsibility, are you going to adhere to this responsibility? Like your responsibility is to do the chores. Are you going to do them? And just if they're not going to do them, like breaking up with that person instead of dating them until they reach their potential, which is maybe what happened with Barda in the past. I don't know. But that seems to always be the pattern. Like we date these people who overpromise and then they don't fulfill their promises and then we're let down. And there's like a cycle of that, right? Especially with Barda being so independent and coming from the family background she's coming from. I bet she dated guys who just like overpromised.
I just hope she stays happy.
Or she didn't cheer, Jed? So no cheers at the end there? Well, I hope Barda's happy too. I mean, that's what Liv said and that's what we hope for, right?
Got some messages from my mum this morning.
Uh-oh.
I think she's struggling to understand us in terms of being in an experiment like this. And it's almost like her saying that even though I signed up for it, she hasn't signed up for it. Yeah. I've always followed the norm in my family. So I think this is the first time they're like, whoa, Sarova's gone off track here. Is everything okay? Like for once, maybe I'm just kind of trying to put myself first. And
nothing wrong with that.
It feels wrong though. If I'm going
So Sarova's mother is having a difficulty understanding the experiment. She's the eldest. She has expectations. She's defined those expectations and her family's struggling to understand it. But I'm here for a girl. Break those generational curses, those generational traumas. Break the expectation that the oldest daughter shouldn't have her own life. I say this as the oldest daughter.
how do I navigate dealing with family and us and keeping us on track without having all that pulling me down a bit?
It's easier for her to discredit me having never met me, but I think once we do meet and she sees that I am genuine, I am in this for real, then maybe she'll back off a little bit, because it's not nice for me to see you upset and stressed all the time, but also they should be there no matter what. That's how I feel. He's
saying I'll do my best to give the parents reassurance, but at the end of the day, like the mom should be on board, because like that's what he expects out of parents, is to support their kids. He must, his mother must be very supportive, which we did see, to be fair. Okay, interesting. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I wonder if it's because his mother's white and she doesn't have that cultural kind of baggage. And I assume Sarova's mother is not white. So she, you know what I mean? Like probably has some cultural baggage attached. I know when I got engaged to my partner, because my parents still haven't met them, they were definitely, like my mother especially, was like very doubtful. So doubtful that when given the opportunity to meet my partner when he was in America, they didn't until it got more serious, but now it's too late. So I live in Europe. So like they missed out on a chance to meet him. And that's the problem with parents is like sometimes you're so in your own bubble, you're so in your own cultural bubble that you forget like your kids are having their own adult life. Like we're in our 30s. Like get on board and get involved or you're going to miss out. And like it is what it is.
I've never really had to stand up to my mum before. I think it's getting overwhelming for her, and her fears and anxieties do come from a place of love, and I do understand that. It feels like I'm in a bit of a pressure cooker right now.
I get it. I'm really proud of her for choosing herself. Sarover is 29, so she's right on that cusp, but girl, you're an adult now. We got to do something for ourselves at some point. Okay, so this is Javin's apartment, and it's super cute, and I noticed a tripod, so I was like, are we a streamer? Are we a content creator, sir? Anytime I see a tripod, not that other people can't own tripods, but as a person with 2 tripods, I'm like, are you a streamer?
Is this your ball?
It is my ball.
Let's see.
I'm retired, man. I got a bad, you know the meme. I would have made it if I didn't get injured.
Classic.
Communication needs improvement. I want him to be a bit more vulnerable, but I'm taking it all one step at a time.
Something bad about being independent, but I am a bit worried about managing our expectations.
What are your expectations?
Just kind of aligning our schedules to so that we can eat together.
It's important to you
It's
to eat together.
Yeah, it is.
How frequently?
Okay, so good question. They're talking about merging their schedules together, eating together at the same time. He said, how frequently? Let's see what she says.
Pretty frequently.
I need numbers every day.
7 days a week. No,
Like dinner every day?
I don't know. Like
2 days a week.
However,
I need
what are you going to be
numbers.
doing the other 5 days a week?
I don't know. Sometimes I work late.
Okay, I don't remember what he does for a job. Let's see. Let me check my note. Oh, he's a health coach. So maybe he stays at the gym late. So they have to figure out if they're going to be dinner together couple or breakfast together couple. And yeah, again, the way my relationship works, which is I recommend it to everybody, if it works for you, is just to do what you want every day and have it make sense. Check in with your partner every day. Say, how is your day going today? How's your day going today? Why does that sound weird? And at what time do you want to meet up? When do we want to spend time together? Because sometimes my partner and I, our schedules are so not in line that we don't see each other till after work, after dinner. Like I end my workday around like midnight, my time. And then we see each other for the first time in the day, like between 12 and midnight or midnight and like 1 a.m. because I work for American time most of the time. So like right now it's 1:44 p.m. and we haven't had any personal time together today because I've just been go. And then after this, I'm going to stream. And then after stream, I need to edit. And then by the time I'm done editing, it will basically be midnight and then I'll see my partner. So we haven't had any time together. We're not going to have dinner together today. We're not going to have any personal time until after work. And to be fair, this week is pretty crazy because I'm pre-recording all these episodes for when I'm away. So this is, to be fair, this particular recording session is on top of my normal schedule. So I'm working like a shift and a half every day. But yeah, like it's, from like noon to midnight, I'm locked into work. And then usually I take a break for work to have dinner with my partner. It's just sometimes our schedules don't align. And so what I'm saying is just like you got to make it work for your relationship, but we just check in every day and multiple times a day, like, how you doing? I love you. How you doing? And I know since they don't work in the same place, right? I assume nobody works from home. There's obviously going to be a more difficult ability to check in like that. But, it's just something you got to talk about. That's why I'm really grateful that my partner is my partner because they don't care that I work 12 hours a day. Like they get it.
Actually, I do work late. Monday till Thursday from 6 to like 9, I'm not even here.
Yeah.
So those are 4 days where we're definitely not going to be eating dinner together.
Okay, that's good to talk about. We need to have these conversations, yeah.
Unless you want to eat late, that's what I do.
I usually eat late anyway, to be
How
fair.
late?
Because I always train after work as well, like 9, 10 o'clock.
I'm in bed by 10 o'clock though.
Oh, he's being difficult now. He's like, I work till 9, but I don't want to eat late, but I'm in bed by 10. I mean, I understand if he's like, look, I don't eat dinner past a certain time, but they got to work it out. Or this is just a sign they're not going to work out. But like he has to show an enthusiasm and a desire to want to spend time with her. But he's doing the opposite. He's signaling that he doesn't want to spend time with her. And she's signaling, I really want to spend time with you. So it's not that he has to meet her expectations, it's that he has to show enthusiasm and they have to create an expectation that makes sense for their lives.
I'll eat 9:30, shower, bed.
That's fine, but I'm just saying I'm going to be here too, so.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm going to be in bed by then.
Yeah, even the way they're having this conversation is so like, ugh, it's so icky for me. It's just, it hurts my feelings,
Got really early.
When we were in the pods, he was holding back, but I thought we were both open to meet each other halfway. It's just something that we need to work on.
My mum says that a promise is a comfort to a fool, so I don't make any promises that I can't keep.
Well, at least he's not going to overpromise,
I'm gonna get that sorted.
Okay, so this is Javin's mother and sister and a kitty cat.
Me and my mum are very close. Me and all my family are pretty close, but all quite a tight unit. So Their opinions are important.
Thank you for cooking. This looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And she cooked for her. Ugh, being plant-based is so difficult because, you know, you just miss out on all these like great meals. But I will say I have been learning to convert. I had made some Assyrian food the other day, plant-based. It turned out great, but it is, you know, it can be difficult, especially when people make you food like this. See how you can't reject her? See how if, you know, she made me food, I'd have to eat it, even though I'm plant-based. It's just, you can't reject it. It's negative energy to reject it. You got to eat it because I bet it's delicious, even though I'm trying not to unnecessarily eat animals. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to do it. I'm assuming it's not vegetarian, but it could be.
Yeah, basically going away on the experiment, proposed to Katisha.
Sorry, pause. There is a ring light also in the background that you can't see. This man definitely makes TikToks.
And now she's my fiance.
Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh, that's the most serious, beautiful face I've ever seen in my life. Oh, sister is serious. Mom is laughing, sister is serious.
Obviously, we connected in the pods through so many things.
Like what exactly? Like, pinpoint those for me.
Well, we both have similar family values. We're both really close to our families. Like, I'm really, really close to my family.
It's weird meeting a fiance now. I feel like it's really quick. It's like he's jumped in straight into the deep end, him and Katisha, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sister probably knows her brother really well. And I think she knows he's not ready. Yeah, in the same way I would know if my little brother came and he was like, I'm ready to get married. I'm like, you're not ready for shit, bro. No. I think she's just got sister intuition. She knows.
Lovely being here because obviously me and Jen have been in a bubble away from everything. So I'm very glad to have some female insight. We both just communicate very differently. I'm leading with emotion. Javen's not.
Javen, in general, he's a very serious guy. Javen is a really hard book to read. He will smile, come rain or shine. It's really hard to kind of gauge like what he's thinking or feeling.
They're saying that he's hard to read because even when he's angry, he smiles. So he doesn't. So either there's not much going on in his head, but he thinks there is, and he thinks he's like really deep and he's hiding a lot, but he's not hiding anything, or he's hiding a lot and he's being he's not giving her informed consent because earlier in an edit, I don't remember when, she said that Javin is mysterious, like dark and mysterious, but I just don't think there's that much going on. Like, I'm not saying he's stupid. I'm not saying there's nothing thoughtful going on. I'm just saying it's probably not that deep. You know, when you're like 15 and you think all your problems are so deep, and then you look back and you're like, girl, like, yes, they were difficult. Yes, you know, but there's not really that much. Like, human beings aren't that interesting. Like, we're interesting, but we're not like so interesting that we have to be behind a wall and no one can know our inner thoughts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone just thinks they're deeper than they are, even though our life is like meaningful and all of those things are profound and all that stuff is true. You know what I mean? What is he hiding is what I'm trying to say. I also dislike the idea that she's saying she's emotional and he's not. But what is like being unattached? Like, that is emotional. Like, him putting up a wall is him protecting his emotions because he's so emotional. Like, that is emotional. That's not logical, because it's not logical to say yes to a girl's engagement, to say yes to getting married, and then not give her your all. That's not logical. So him being withholding, him being unattached, him being like, you know what I'm saying? That is emotional. I just don't like the idea that like, oh, he's logical. This is not logical.
Is he bringing his walls down?
Not being 100% vulnerable. I have struggled a little bit with the vulnerability side,
which is an emotional statement from him. He's being emotional. Why are we even pretending that like men are so logical? They're not even in their feelings.
Has been through a lot, and I think that's why his walls are quite high.
What? I understand. Like, we've all been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? You have one person who can have cancer and go through chemo and just be the most warm and vulnerable and open person. You can have people who have been assaulted, who have been robbed, who have gone through so much trauma, and they're warm and open. We all have reasons and relationships with our walls up, but this is the difference between healed and unhealed. When I was unhealed, my walls were up. When I was more healed, my walls were down. I had nothing to hide. I had been through it. I already went through it. If you're going to judge me for my struggle, it is what it is. It's not being vulnerable for me to state the truth of my life. So this is why I am a little annoyed that he's being painted as so logical, because he's unhealed. Just because you're unhealed and your walls are up does not mean you're logical. You are just as wounded as the rest of us. You're just not being honest about it. And I do think it's really messed up for him to have his walls up and say yes to an engagement. Because I will say this, when I was unhealed and my last partner asked to marry me, I said no. I said, first of all, we're not even healed enough to get married. We're not even where we need to be to get married. We haven't even proven to each other we can be in a good relationship together. And more than that, like, we're obviously just not ready. That's what I'm saying. Like, just the framing of it annoys me. It really does annoy me.
He was in the football academy and certain things didn't work out how he had planned it for himself.
You mean all of life for all of us? Yes, it's hard. Go to therapy. Most of us, life doesn't work out exactly how we planned. That's why we let go of the attachment. Philosophically speaking, painting this man as somebody who's logical and not emotional when life didn't work out in his favor, so he takes it out on, you know what I mean? So he's all walls up. Like, how is that not emotional? How is he not emotional? I'm sorry, I'm going to harp on this because y'all got to get it into your brains that this man isn't being logical, he is being emotional.
And it did crush him.
Yeah.
And I think he doesn't like to bring those feelings up.
Has he gone to therapy? Has he done the work? Has he deconstructed? Did he, you know what I mean? Like, yes, it's horrible when like things don't work out. That's why we go to therapy. It's why we do philosophical work to realize we were never entitled to the outcome. Philosophically speaking, many of us, and it's always worth the attempt, will attempt to do something that doesn't pan out for us. That's okay. It's difficult. It's okay to get support for it. It's not okay to take it out on other people, though. And by getting engaged to this woman before he's dealt with it, I think he is taking it out on her because now he's not involved in the relationship. Now he can't even promise to make dinner on time with her. Now he doesn't know how to even show enthusiasm for wanting to see her at dinner time. So I don't want to hear it, okay? I would be more sympathetic to him and more open to him and more compassionate towards him if he wasn't trying to play the cool guy all the time and if she wasn't internalizing the fact that she's emotional and he's logical.
So he has a huge, huge heart. That softer, more vulnerable side to him. It will come out.
Yeah.
It will, because it is there.
Yeah, of course.
It's very affirming hearing his sister talk about Javen.
Gave me a really good insight on how I can communicate better with him.
It's easy to forget some of the hardships that Javen's went through because he obviously doesn't talk about them a lot.
I want him to feel comfortable in this relationship just as much as I do.
And I'm also so used to dealing with like men and their masculine and toxic masculinity who just like refuse to be vulnerable and they get mad when women don't, you know, support them in their vulnerability. I'm not gonna like, you know what I mean, fight you for you to be vulnerable and then for you to be vulnerable without going to therapy because men always want to be vulnerable without doing the work on themselves and they expect you to be their therapist. I'm just saying if Javin expects her to be his therapist, he's in for a surprise because this girl needs a therapist. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna actually meet my dad today. It means everything to me. My dad is the first role model I ever had. He's always gonna be like a superhero to me.
I think thinking your dad is a superhero past the age of like 16 is weird. Your dad's not a superhero. He's just a guy. And even superheroes aren't superheroes. They're just a guy. See, I'm very cynical this episode. I'm very critical this episode. I'm sorry, girls. Okay, the whole like my dad's my superhero. Your dad's a dude. But maybe it's because I don't believe in like the idea of pedestaling people, so I don't like it. Sounds like unresolved trauma.
So how's it been going?
Crazy, isn't it?
It's been a wonderful crazy, yeah.
It's a bit strange how things have went, you know. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I totally trust you.
Yeah.
And it's not me saying I don't trust you.
No,
I don't
tell me
know
that,
you at
yeah.
the minute, Ashley, you know. But my biggest question is, how real is it for you?
I didn't come into this experiment to date, to find a boyfriend. I came in this experiment to find Billy.
Communication and compromise moving forward, that's what we're, I think, better than most at, just communicating.
Be honest, really.
A couple of days before he was getting on the train, one of his parting words the night before was, I'll be all right as long as there's no air stewardesses on it.
Oops. Oh my God, he ended up with a girl with the one job. He said, no, oh, that's so funny. Hey, it happens, you know? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't know if it's that big of a deal. I guess we'll see.
It's something we knew that we were gonna have to work through, no matter what, wasn't it? But realistically, it's gonna be, for the first 6 months at least, I'm not gonna be able to get assigned anywhere close to her. She's gonna be on full rotations.
Damn, so for the first 6 months of marriage, they're definitely gonna have to commute because of their job differences. That really sucks.
And we will make it work.
It's not a quick fix, is it? This is the long term.
Okay, the dad seems pretty open-minded, but there is some difficulties that they do have to think about for real. Are their lifestyles compatible?
Unexpected to hear Billy's dad come out with that comment. You know, son, you said you'd never marry. Cabin crew. I'm not worried about that at all. We've got through this job thing.
Okay, let's go ahead and end there for now because the group is about to see each other. It's going to be a whole different like segment. I'll save it for another edit. Thank you for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And remember, even though I'm critical and passionate, doesn't mean I'm right. So if you think I'm wrong, let me know. And with that said, I will see you for the next one. Bye-bye.